the first movie of 2018, and the one right before Infinity War was Black Panther, which, at the time of this recording, it received 2 Oscars, right? Yeah, yeah, woo! Black Panther was a really good movie. Killmonger was a really good villain. He had a good backstory and a reason that would maybe almost make you want to root for him, but you know, you don't really agree with his methods. Oh, but anyway, this movie came out in February of 2018, and I most recently watched it in February 10th, 2019, and so like about a year later. There was one particular scene that really stood out to me when King T'Challa goes into the astral plane for the second time, and he's confronting his ancestors. And not to mix franchises, but it did give me a Legend of Korra vibe. And if you know what that is, congrats. If you don't, I recommend maybe watching Legend of Korra. Anyway, King T'Challa was getting mad at them, saying they were wrong to turn their backs on the rest of the world. And, what that reminds me of and kind of makes me think about is the thing that really stood out to me, and the thing that scene showed me was sort of the generational disputes that I have with my parents, or most adults for that matter, but mostly my parents, and how different things were for them and for me now. And one of the biggest things is millennial things, like typically sticking with your company for only 2 years before you try to move on to the next one. And to them, that's like, oh, you have no loyalty towards your companies. You have to really stay there to really earn your credit for your resume or whatever. But for us, it's like, okay, after a certain point, and this is probably just from my experience, my limited experience, and it's like, okay, at some point you just stop growing, and then I'm there forever, and this does nothing, so it's better just move on. Fine, a little harsh, but it's the only way to get things done sometimes. Or, we're always on our phones, always on social media, and that one's relatively true, but I'm kind of in the middle on that one. And the thing about that is, it's no one's fault. It's just sort of the natural way things went. Especially as the son of 2 immigrant parents, the time and the circumstances for them are completely different from the time and circumstances I am experiencing now. They experience things that I will never truly understand. I will never truly understand what it's like to move halfway across the world for work, for a better life, living in a country where they had to speak a second language, with a place that they're completely unfamiliar with. But they will also never understand what it was like for me to grow up as the son of 2 immigrants that don't look like the typical American, or growing up in a culturally diverse place. Or even, I don't want to get into it too much, but for them, especially as Asian parents, like school, grades, good college, good career, all that stuff was everything to them, and they kind of passed that on to me. And a lot of my friends who are also the children of immigrant parents kind of typically experience the same thing. They emphasize good grades, good school, good job. They emphasize all that stuff, and it was very, very true for their time. But now it's a little bit different. Again, I don't want to get into it too much, but like, what are some of the stats and experiences? And some of these are more anecdotal and like things I've heard from my own peers and my own friends. It's like, more and more people are moving back home so they can save money. most everyone who goes to college ends up with crushing debt that they don't get to pay off for another like 10, 15, 20 years. Cost of living is high and things are expensive. And what's another one? Not a lot of people don't end up working in the career that they studied, and I'm kind of in that boat because some things changed, some things didn't, and that's like kind of what's causing friction between the two generations. It's like it's hard for them to understand some of the things that we go through, and it's hard for us to understand some of the things that they went through, and it's hard to move forward with that friction or misunderstanding, if you will. So again, it's no one's fault, it's just the way things went. We'll never fully understand each other's experiences, but the best thing that we can do is do our best. And yeah, sometimes hearing the explanation is annoying or can kind of be a crutch, but at the end of the day, I don't know, we just have to do our best.